her hypnotic dance. She holds me here with only a glance. She's over me. She's over me. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, welcome to the Paranormal Portal. It's our Saturday 2-hour edition, and I hope you guys are doing wonderful. Scheduling conflict tonight kept Donald Schmidt from being here, but he will be joining us on November 22nd, and then we will get into all of that. So it happens sometimes, and we'll just roll with it. No big deal. It's just some things can't be avoided. That's part of the deal when you have guests. Sometimes they work out, sometimes they don't. But welcome everybody to our show, and by our, I mean not only mine, not only yours, but also my good friend and co-host, Mr. Don Longbeard. It's part of him too.
Oh, hey.
Yeah.
I was replying back to Anxiety Talks in the chat, just saying, well, we're always here at 7 p.m. PST every night, but on Friday, Saturday, and Wednesdays, or Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, it's also 7 o'clock, but it's a 2-hour show.
2-hour shows, that's correct.
But we are here, you are here, and thank you very much for it.
Yeah, we're thrilled to be here with you guys. So thanks for being here. So sorry about the change of gears. That's just the way it all works out sometimes. But we're here to keep you wildly entertained because, well, that's what we love to do. So hopefully you're easily entertained.
Hey,
that was funny, wasn't it?
Oh, yes, easily entertained, yes.
Okay, what is it?
Shout out to Black Tree.
Hello, Julia. Good to see you, dear. We've missed you always. Yeah, I was just telling Don we haven't seen you for a while. Missed you. And so she's already had it. 720-923-0500 is the phone lines to the show.
She's a mod.
That's why she's here. That's why she's got the wrench, see?
She's got a wrench.
And she knows how to use it.
Oh, my.
All right,
Really?
ladies. I should bounce it off your head if you get out of line. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's a big freaking wrench, man.
Yeah.
It's like the kind you find in New York. You know what I'm saying?
That's a New York wrench right there, huh? All right. So, welcome, everybody. Hope everything's going good for you. It's Saturday. You're well into the weekend now. And hope you're all surviving your candy comas and hangovers from the late week Halloween.
Yeah, let me tell you about that.
Please do.
What? Paranormal Portal West uploaded your campfire show to YouTube? Oh, really? Okay. So,
very cool.
So, yeah. Excellent.
Yeah, that was a good time. We had a lot of fun hanging out with Wes and
Lurkle.
Tony Merkel of the Confessionals. Good as well.
Guy. I jest.
Well, we love both those guys. We love all of you guys, and we are all here. We're just one big happy family.
We are.
I can't wait to see what they got me for Christmas.
A sock full of coal.
Yeah, well, might need it for heat the way it's going. This is a
no doubt.
It's cold winter so far, Don.
Like bed warmers, the old-fashioned bed warmers. Yeah. You put the coals in, put them.
Yeah, that's right. What did they do? They put them under the mattress or on top of the mattress or what?
I don't know. I didn't live back then.
I know, but
I'm going to find out. I think they put them under the mattress and heated the mattress from that, but
right. I mean, that's a pretty aggressive.
Wow.
A pretty aggressive move, and I think they didn't leave them there probably all night. They just left them
they just
to warm up the mattress before people got in. But Yeah, I know. I mean, but it's like it's October.
Yeah.
And
Cold as-
well, it's November now, but it was
Right.
October and it was just in the 20s. It's like,
Yeah,
what
it's
the hell is
horrible.
broken? So summer's just boom gone. It just disappeared really, really quickly and ugly.
Yep.
And it left me with a lot of hurt feelings.
Oh, there's
Didn't
an-
even leave a note.
Her feelings. Did it owe you money?
It ran away like it owed me money, Don. I'm telling you.
American Cryptids. There's a new name.
Oh, very cool.
Nice.
Welcome to the show, guys. Or guy, gal, whatever. We're happy you're here, but a lot of people are here coming in.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just
Oh,
going to look.
Ruthie C's in
Ruthie.
Ruthie's in TFR.
Yeah, she was in
There's-
TFR last night,
There's
too.
Lucky and Purple Pill.
Oh, great to see you guys.
Nice.
Wonderful. Welcome to the show. Of course, Lucky has been a part of the paranormal since day one.
And we're lucky to have her.
Well, everybody's lucky to have Lucky.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm all about getting lucky.
Oh, God. Now the segment of our show called What the Stuff Brent Says.
No, you're tuning into Radio Harassment with Brent Thomas. No, Lucky's a dear, dear friend. I love her dearly. She's been a part. I mean, back when I
Yes.
was first starting,
Yeah.
I started every episode just looking at looking at Skype to make sure everything was working right. She'd just be there firing me messages and can't hear this. The music's too loud. This, and it was like, oh, okay. So I was always on the fly. So she's been like the producer.
Yeah, she helped him fine tune everything.
For
Well,
a
and
long
she's
time.
been helping the entire time. Yeah.
Yeah, she hasn't stopped. I don't think.
I know. Thank
She's
God.
still sending articles and stuff, which is really cool. So thank you, Lucky. Love you bunches. She's a great person. And Ruthie, great to see you. We've missed you. It's good to
Yes.
see you as well. So and all of you guys. That's kind of the friendly user came in. Whoever friendly user is, welcome to the show. Purple pie pill.
Purple Pie Pill?
Yeah, that's a chatter in TFR as well.
No, it's purple. P-L.
Oh.
Purple Pill. Purple Pie Pill.
I don't know what's going on with my eyes lately. I know I need a new prescription, but
Can you hear me now?
yeah, I can hear you through my eyes, Don.
My boss is always, the only reason I wear glasses is so I can hear you. What'd you say? You need a
your
new
lips?
prescription, jerk.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He's reading lips.
Yeah.
Read this.
Oh, Laurens came in. Lourens
Very
came into
nice,
the
very
TFR.
nice.
Welcome, Don. Who's in?
You know what? Yeah, let me pop over here real quick. Pop that out. And
YouTube?
And Hootube. We've got Hootube. We've got 5 Hazel, American Cryptids, Anxiety Talks, Beastly Bronco, Mr. Carey from Bigfoot Odyssey. We've got Julia Blacktree, one of our mods. Cam F, Cryptids 559, Cryptidville's here. Oh, there's Miss Daniela and Ms. Deb Varner. DJ Big Red's here. Donnie C. I am Pam. Christy's here. Christina. Mary Brim. By the way, Mary, I saw your post on Facebook. Thank you. When we get rolling, we are quite the thing, aren't we? Anyhow, Mary H is here. That's a new name to me. Matrix 7 is here. Nice to see you again. Mind your business. And there's Mog. Smoking Joe's here. Soul Stay. Wow, we got a lot here. Suzanne Page, Tesla Tech 9. Weird Desk is here. I like her. She's funny.
I like all these people.
Scout. Well, yeah. No, don't get me wrong. Scowling Wolf just popped in. Let's see here. Did I miss anybody here? Nope. That's everybody I see at this time. So there you go. Lindsay Bay just popped in as well. So there you go. Excellent. Nice to have all of you here.
Oh, it is. It's wonderful to see all you guys, and thank you so much for being here. So again, we had to change gears. We had a mix-up on scheduling, but we got that all sorted, and Donald Schmidt will come on the portal on November 22nd. And again, brilliant man. I'm really excited to have him back. But for tonight, it's just Don and I and all of you. If you want to call in and be a part of the show, we'd love to hear from you. The call-in number for the Paranormal Portal, it's different from all the other TFR numbers.
Because we're special ads.
We're
Specials.
Yeah, we're all kinds of special. The phone number is 720-923-0500. Again, 720-923-0500. 0500. So call in if you want to be a part of the show. If you know something paranormal that has happened to you and would love to share it, or if you have any ideas about paranormal stuff or just something paranormal you want to talk about.
Yes.
We're here for you. We are here to comfort and to soothe you. Well, Don's here for soothing. I'm here for, talking.
You can stroke my beard.
Oh, Jesus.
I'll let you stroke my beard.
Yeah. Well, line up, ladies. He's like a man and a puppy all in one.
Yep. Just rub my belly.
And moving along, let's get to some...
Back to things Dawn says.
let's get to some other paranormal stuff other than your belly.
My belly.
Your belly. But, we got a good show hopefully lined up for you.
Excellent.
We always plan to have a good show, and it usually works out pretty well, I got to admit. We've always done really pretty well for, the amount of throwing caution to the wind that we do. We throw caution to the wind here on the Paranormal Portal.
I don't think we have to throw it. I just think the wind picks it up and takes it. It's like, oh my God!
Well, there's nothing new on the hot sheets today, Don.
Oh, doggone it.
I know, right?
Oh, the hot sheets. Gotta love them, though.
Yeah.
We gotta find more hot sheets.
We do.
Yeah.
We do. It's cool to look up, when they have something new. It's just a lot of fun. They do a great job. Mm-hmm. Singularfortean.com is who we're talking about. We talk about them quite a bit on the show. I really love that site. If you've ever you're into the Fortean subjects, you can head over to singularfortean.com. Check them out. The articles are not long. They're just pretty concise and brief and fulfilling. Much like a good buffet.
Yes, exactly.
I'm looking for something here because...
Paranormal bouillabaisse.
What's going on in your world, Don?
Typical stuff. Just grinding away, trying to make the portal better every day.
Well, Lucky sent me something. Speaking of Lucky,
nice.
And I wanna check this out. It has to do with the. It gave me an error. What's the problem here? Come on. Nope, it's not going to let me.
Welcome to the portal.
Welcome to the portal. Well, things that should work don't. How about this? One.
Yeah, those are.
I meant
to read. Oh wow. It is totally denying you.
It's not letting me open any links.
Wow.
What the hell's going on? That's it, ladies and gentlemen. The Paranormal Portal is its own entity.
We're done.
Yeah.
Just
all right, guys. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, that's not what I meant. Well, we'll just.
I don't know. Nothing's open.
What is
that's
that
weird.
Singular website? Oh, Fortean.
Singularfortean.com.
Singularfortean.com. Yeah.
But there was nothing new there.
Yeah. Well, Julia was asking.
Oh yeah, it's a great copy. Let me try copying link and just
fell into
moving
the
it
event
over
horizon. Yes, naked singularity tore it apart.
Paste.
That sounds like a wonderful way to die, doesn't it?
I'm not quite
Being
sure.
reduced down to a strand of single atoms and then poof, gone.
So we've not really talked about this a whole lot on the show, and it has to do with the Bell Witch.
Nice.
It's the legend of the Bell Witch, and this is probably one of the most famous folk tales / historical tales / supernatural tales in the U.S. As far as being one of the oldest. And I can't remember what movie was based. This was based on the Bell Witch. Was it? Oh, the Blair Witch is based on.
Was it?
Yeah, loosely based on the Bell Witch legend. Loosely. Well, yeah, I mean, it was a bunch of guys running around with camcorders, but
there was a lady.
Or people. I meant just people. I wasn't being literal there. But it is an old story, and it allegedly is true. It's a really creepy story, and it has to do with allegedly an ongoing curse. So let's read about the Bell Witch tonight here on the Paranormal Portal. This is us going into the history bag a little bit, and this is thanks to Lucky. She sent me this, and I'm getting this from the Chattanooga Pulse .com. So Chattanooga Pulse. And it says, on the road with the bewitching of a Tennessee Hollow. Oh, God, small font. Zoom in. Yeah, speaking of my eyes, Ruthie said maybe aliens abducted my eyes, and I said I think they just traded me with a really crappy pair. All right,
this is the clone Brent.
Yeah, I'm the upgraded version. All right, on the road.
The upgraded.
This is the upgrade. You should have seen the other one. That's all I got to say.
It was a friggin' mess.
40 miles north of Nashville, the Robertson County landscape is both beautiful and eerie. The lonesome shriek of a train whistle echoes through fertile fields, stretching beneath an ominous gray late October sky that mingles with smoke billowing from the peaks of barns curing tobacco. Wow, that was beautifully written.
Yes, it was.
More than 200 years ago, here in the unassuming hamlet of Adams, the Bell Witch was born. Arguably the most famous ghost story in American history. Thank you. That's what I said. Chris Kirby and her husband Walter purchased the Bell property and its spirited soil in 1993. Spirited soil. That's awesome. This person really enjoys writing. You can tell.
Yes.
They conduct tours of a replica of the Bell family's 1800s log cabin and nearby natural cave, a cave forged alongside the Red River over 1 million years ago that's listed on the National Historic Registry. From 1817 to 1821, John Bell and his family were tormented by something. Bizarre animals, a dog with the head of a rabbit, roamed the farm, unexplained noises, rattled nerves, gnawing on bedposts, dragging of chains, and dropping of stones on the floor. Then a voice emerged. I've been disturbed and made unhappy. I am the spirit of a person who was buried in the woods, reported an account. By other accounts, this essence declared herself the witch of a woman named Kate Batts, Batts. Visions and voices advancing to inflicting pain, physical harm and pain, and John Bell and his daughter Betsy received the brunt of the abuse. Betsy's hair was pulled, her body scratched and stuck with pins. John suffered the feeling of a stick being stuck sideways in his throat.
Wow.
News of the poltergeist spread, attracting crowds. Even Andrew Jackson paid a visit to the Bell family and commented, I had rather face the entire British Army than to spend the night with the Bell Witch. Sorry. It seemed Kate had two agendas: to kill John Bell and to stop Betsy from marrying a neighbor named Joshua Gardner. On December 20th, 1820, John Bell died from a mysterious poisoning. The witch took full credit for his death. Then in March of 1821, Betsy broke off her engagement with Gardner. Crowds continue to flock to the site today. Thousands from across the U.S. visit annually. This year alone, we had people here from the Ukraine, Scotland, Spain, Germany, and Australia. Chris says, I absolutely love being a part of this story. I've always had my heart in doing the tours, and I've always had a passion for history. The tour begins at the mouth of the cave. The surrounding bluff is believed to be an ancient Choctaw Indian burial mound where those interned were buried, sitting up in the fetal position. Archaeologists estimate the graves to be between 3,000 and 5,000 years old. Right away, Chris debunks one popular theory. The main story most people grew up with was that John Bell cheated a neighbor woman by the name of Kate Betts on the land, he said. On her deathbed, she swore to come back and haunt him. Well, that story is not true. First of all, when John Bell died, Kate Betts was still alive, or Batts, rather, was still alive, and she lived for many years after him. Whatever this witch was, and persists through unexplained orbs of light to be, she might not be all that bad. She was vicious when she wanted to be, but she could also be kind, even spiritual, Chris says. They say every Sunday morning they could hear her singing gospel hymns in church right along with everyone else. They say she had the voice of an angel. She's even a soothsayer if you believe the documented conversations between her and John Bell Jr., released by the Bell family in 1934. She described exactly how the end of our civilization is going to happen. She said the temperature of the earth is going to start getting hotter and hotter. When the core of the earth gets to a certain temperature, there's going to be a massive explosion and the planet will never be inhabited again. Roughly 40 books have been written about Bell Witch, as well as several movies, plays, and even a metal band, Bell Witch. Believe it or not, they teach it in some of the schools here. This is part of Tennessee history, Chris says. I think this story has endured over time because it has never been debunked. All the people were real. Some left their own written accounts of what they saw and heard, and I think if this story was a hoax, it would have died out many years ago. After the tour, I sit down at a neighboring ballpark where a tractor pull competition grinds away. I used to love those things. Did you ever go see those, Don, tractor pulls?
Of course I did.
Oh, they were awesome. They were a lot of fun.
Sunday.
You'll pay for the whole seat, but you'll only need the edge. All right. I skim William Gay's essay, Queen of the Haunted Dell. He writes, it might be worth remembering that the Bell Witch saved her strongest malice for scoffers and debunkers. It might be wise to keep one's disbelief to oneself. I press play on my audio recording taken during my tour, and I can hear Chris speaking as we stand outside the mouth of the cave. After 8 minutes, once we enter the cavern, the recording goes silent. Truth right there, ladies and gentlemen, the Bell Witch. Just a synopsis of it, not an in-depth history, but interesting nonetheless, and I think that'd be kind of cool, if it's especially around Halloween time, to go tour the Bell Witch thing.
You know, Cryptidville said he's been there, or they've been there, and to the Bell Witch Cave, and it's I can't exactly remember what was said, but it was a burial ground, and underneath the mound was another burial ground, something to that effect.
Oh wow!
I'm trying to see exactly what it was. It's a burial site. As a matter of fact, the cave is under a burial mound, and is a burial place. Cryptidville says.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So there you go.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, we don't pretend to know everything, and we love the conversation.
A multi-level cave. Wow.
So it's a labyrinth of sorts.
They also said they think they creeped out the tour guide when they went. Apparently, they know more about it than the tour guide does. That sometimes happens.
Oh yeah, especially with people that are researchers themselves, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. So you creeped them out. Did you fill them in on some of the legend they weren't aware of? I'd love to hear more about this. That's pretty cool.
Especially about the scoffers. Yeah.
All right, let me blow this one up, because this is another one. And this one has to do with the top 5 weirdest haunted railroad stations.
Railroad stories.
Stories.
Let me reread that for you.
I don't know what's wrong with me, Don. It's like I can't read anymore. I guess I've read probably close to 1 million words on this show already. So maybe I've run out of my quota of words that I'm allowed to read.
Yeah, no doubt.
Do you want to read the whole thing?
No.
All right. Well, here was to hoping, but let's have a look.
In the 1800s, construction crews cut through mountains and soared over rivers.
In the 1800s, construction crews cut through mountains, soared over rivers, twisted around bends, and drove straight into towns and cities to build railroad lines that swept across the land like an iron and steel wildfire. I love the way these people are writing. It's so engaging. I can feel the words. They're tickling my ears, Don.
Oh, my goodness.
On May 10th, or they're tickling my retinas, because I'm reading it.
Sure.
On May 10th, 1869, a seminal moment in railroad history, a golden spike was pounded into the final tie to officially commemorate the completion of the Transcontinental Railroad.
And was promptly stolen.
Oh, I'm sure. Probably. Yeah. Yeah, they saw them coming. Railroads would connect states and nations, forever tying people and business together. Something else swept along with this marvel of construction and transportation, however. Something that remains embedded in our collective psyche. Railroad ghosts. Let me do that again. Hold on. Railroad ghosts.
Ooh, that was spooky.
Ah, it was pretty good, wasn't it?
Yes.
I love these buttons. Haunted railroad lore runs the full line of weird paranormal activity, from spooky but well-documented levitating light or orbs phenomena to apparitions of people appearing in train engines and cars. It includes tales of the wandering souls of long-dead railroad engineers, and even accounts that the machines themselves, have rolled down the tracks of mortality and into the spirit world. Now, that's interesting. Can things be alive? And I would say, yeah, I think they can. You know, if they suck in enough psychic impressions and energy, perhaps they do.
So would it be the individual writers, or say the work crews that worked on them that gave them life?
Oh, all the above.
Oh, okay.
I think so. I think that's just through. There's many, like if you watch the Dead Files, for instance, Amy Ellen talks about sometimes the problem is actually the house itself.
Right.
And there's no way to fix that, because it's the house itself is just doesn't like it has an awareness, and it doesn't like some people.
Like if you build it out of the haunted woods.
Well, that probably wouldn't help. That wouldn't help either. But I think that it's not necessarily even the materials it's made out of. That just with enough crap happening in a place over time, that energy could possibly coalesce into an awareness of sorts.
You know, I have a firm belief that if you leave a house alone, say uninhabited for, a good amount of time, we say that the house dies, it starts to degrade and it starts to fall apart,
Right.
because the spirit of the house, which would be the people energizing it, are gone. And
Yeah, that's a good point.
It loses its own spirit.
Perhaps. Or, yeah, maybe. So this article will take us no, that's good feedback. I like that. This article will take us to some of these haunted railroad destinations, arriving at our first stop on the itinerary through the 5 weirdest tales in haunted rail history. It's the tale of an assassinated president destined to live among the immortals and his funeral train that took him there. So this article is from Llewellyn.com. It's Llewellyn. Llewellyn. I wonder if it's the same people as the publishers, the Llewellyn publishers. But anyway, first one is Abraham Lincoln's funeral train. On a particularly melancholy morning on April 19th, 1865, Abraham Lincoln's funeral train drifted out of Washington, D.C. depot to visit hundreds of thousands of grief-stricken citizens in 400 communities who had lined up to pay tribute to the assassinated great emancipator legend. Has it?
Really?
Well,
It's break time?
Well, he'll be running through the tracks,
Wow.
ladies and gentlemen. We'll catch up with Abe and his train after these messages. Don't go away. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you had a wonderful break. I know I did. I sat here and pondered the meaning of life and all of its enormous 42. Yeah, that's right. But that's what I did. Thanks, Don, for giving away the secret.
Sorry.
It's all right. I was just pondering it. I guess I don't have to do that anymore. Thanks for that.
That's what the ex-wife takes is the 42.
Yeah, I bet. I bet that's true. I think mine took like 72. But anyway, I didn't have a good attorney. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get on to this. We're talking about Abraham's funeral train. Abraham Lincoln, of course.
Yes.
His funeral train. And let me just start this from the beginning, since we got only 2 sentences.
Because I keep interrupting.
Well, no, that goes without saying. But for entirely different reason, Don, because the break interrupted us. I was not manning the break clock,
yes,
and kind of fell behind there. So anyway, let's talk about Abraham Lincoln's funeral train, everybody, because I think this is a huge legend. Anyway, I've heard of this many times through the years, mostly when I was younger, though. I don't hear about it much in in my older years, but I think it's a great kid's story, and maybe there is something to it. But it says, on a particularly melancholy morning of April 19th, 1865, Abraham Lincoln's funeral train drifted out of Washington, D.C. depot to visit hundreds of thousands of grief-stricken citizens in 400 communities who had lined up to pay tribute to the assassinated great emancipator. Legend has it, though, that just because you were born more than a century too late for the spectacle of Abraham Lincoln's funeral train, you aren't too late for its specter. The ghost of this funeral train is said to retrace its route annually on the anniversary of its inaugural trip. Some say that if you're out along the rail lines that were once part of the funeral train's itinerary, which meandered through several mid-Atlantic and Midwestern states, you might see a black steam engine with fire belching from its smokestack glide eerily down the line. And in case there is any doubt that what you are witnessing is an actual supernatural sight and not being fooled by some type of historical reenactment, witnesses say if you look through the window, you can see that the president's coffin is laid out, and an ever-vigilant group of Union soldiers, some of which some describe as ghosts and others as skeletons, keep watch over the coffin.
Wow.
Wow, now that's dedication. They've been at that for a long time. That's I mean, it's bizarre. Again, these are the really, really classical kind of ghost stuff. Smoke Joe says, Paranormal Portal, can you find any good ghost stories about Fort Lincoln in Meridian, North Dakota? Or Mandan? North, I don't know, what is it? Several, or General Custer lived. Oh, I've tried searching for stuff, but I can't find good stories. Just short synopsis. I'll look into it. I don't know what's out there for that. But again, stories like this of the ghost train, they are, I think they're interesting, but I don't know how often they actually happen. I don't know. I got to tell you, I don't hear regularly about people seeing this train. Not that I'm necessarily plugged into the nerve center of every sighting, but then again, I don't know. Maybe it never went to Minnesota or out here in the West. I think we're too far west for where that train would have traveled back then. But I don't know. I think a lot of these things, it may have happened. It may have happened a few times. But you don't hear about it anymore, I don't think. And any of you out there hear of any recent sightings of this, let me know, because I think that's pretty curious. I think there was perhaps an event or two or three, and then probably faded into obscurity in a sense. But maybe it's still making the rounds. Who knows?
Maybe. But things like that, like I said, I think things like that, if nobody's really paying attention anymore, that like the house I just mentioned, it loses its power.
Yeah,
the manifestation, because we've got to put the energy out there to have it manifest. And I think it's been a long time since Abe's been gone. 1864. 1865.
Yeah.
So it's been a while. It's like 150 years.
Absolutely. So here's another one though, Don.
Oh.
And it says, This is the dangers of working overtime at a railroad museum.
Oh, I bet.
I think any museum you probably are going to be prone to bump into some items that have attachments. But this says the staff and volunteers at the Railroaders Memorial Museum in Altoona, Pennsylvania, are a lot like the people who the facility memorializes. The hardworking, loyal people who helped turn the small city of Altoona into a world-famous railroad hub. And one hardworking finance director at the museum found out just how loyal railroad spirits can be. I mean, they don't just want to leave. According to a now legendary Altoona ghost story told by multiple sources, the director walked from his office to the building's elevator after a long day of hard work. The director, who said he was usually the last one in the office, waited until the elevator door eventually swung open, and in he walked. But shockingly, the director found that he wasn't alone in the elevator. A man stood on the other side of the elevator with his back to him. The unexpected guest casually looked over his shoulder at the dismayed finance director, and then the man's body started to shimmy. It says shimmy electrically, and eventually completely disappeared.
Wow. Later, the director noticed the railroad worker in a picture on display in the museum who looked similar. One might say hauntingly similar, to the man who shared his elevator ride into haunted railroad weirdness. He assumed this was the ghost of the man that he bumped into on his elevator ride into spooky railroad history. Wow.
Yeah, that's wild. It's an apparition, right? So
yeah,
I guess maybe there was an item there that had belonged to that man and was important to him, and now he just hangs out there. Here's another one, Don. It's a stamp of spooky approval. Some of these.
It has my stamp.
It's got my approval already just because it was so corny. Not many paranormal phenomena earn a royal stamp of approval, but an elite group of spooky happenings in the Great White North, or better, the Great Fright North.
Oh.
It's just so campy. Were immortalized as Canadian postage stamps. Among them, the St. Louis Ghost Train stamp became highly sought after when the Post released the stamp to the public in 2014. The stamp celebrates a ghostly railroad tale that's been creeping out of the small quaint village of St. Louis, Saskatchewan, for decades. Witnesses say that the eerie lights often dance along the stretch of railroad tracks just outside of town. Some say that there is a white light and a red light, and they believe the white light represents the headlamp of the train, and the red light looks like the light that used to flash from the back of the caboose. Believers say that the lights are either from a ghost train that was part of a deadly train robbery, or the ghost of a conductor who died in a horrible work accident along that section of track. Debunkers have other reasons for the phenomena. Mainly, they say the phenomena is nothing more than a combination of automobile headlights and overactive imaginations.
Oh, not swamp gas.
No.
Okay.
Well, that's not a UFO, though, so. Swamp gas is only effective for UFO sightings.
Oh, I see. Will-o-wisps.
Yeah.
Will-o-the-wisps.
Will-o-the-wisps, yeah.
There you go. That's what it is.
But the sightings continue to be vexing. They use vexing, Don.
That's vexing.
You don't hear that word much anymore.
Nope.
And spooky enough to be immortalized in stamp collections across Canada, and stamped in the time-space continuum that surrounds the village of St. Louis, Saskatchewan.
There you go.
Wow, really cool.
So D says portal hoodies protect you from cold spots caused by phenomena.
Really?
So go get a hoodie from
you can go.
teesprings.com/stores/paranormal-portal. Sorry.
No, it's great. It's always a good time to plug the gear. Why not now? Look in the show description on YouTube if you're not familiar with that link, or if you want to remember it. It's in the show description, but it's where we have all our gear.
Yep.
We have mugs, stickers, T-shirts, hoodies, and what else do we have? Is that it?
We got the stickers and hoodies.
Yeah, I said
stickers.
Yep. Okay.
And mugs. Don't forget the mugs.
Yeah, we got all that, and we'll have more as time goes on. Don's working on hats.
Yeah, I'm working on them. Duke says, did you know clicking like keeps Brent from losing his voice?
Yeah, you know, it might help.
I like this
Give
one.
me some likes.
I like this one. Did you know clicking likes makes Don's beard grow longer? I'm not going to read what Lewis said.
Oh, what's Lewis doing here? Lewis, is it past your bedtime? Lewis is taking it sideways, is he?
No, he wasn't being rude. I'm just
All
not
right.
going to read it.
Oh, okay. All right. So, was it about shaving the beard? Was that
No,
what
it was about my nose.
Oh, okay.
Crustwalker hats. Thank you for reminding me. That's awesome. We've got to come up with a little logo, or not a little logo, but a little thing for the Crustwalkers.
I'm sorry, the what?
It's a reference. Gosh. Remember when we were talking about Inner Earth or Hollow Earth or something?
Yeah.
I said we were Crustwalkers. Remember? Gosh.
Okay. I'm sure you did. I
all these little vignettes that he's missing.
I know. Yeah. Well, sorry. Yeah. There's whole volumes of things that I've missed. I could fill a library with
That's
that
probably
stuff.
a good thing in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Well, it's just the way I roll, dude. Let's see. There's ghost trains, nonfiction, fiction, or science fiction.
Did we just have a brain moment?
No, it's the guy's name. It's just kind of funny. Philip K. Dick,
Yeah.
one of the world's most famous
Yep.
and talented science fiction authors, had some unorthodox views about reality. In his nearly 500,000-word how would you say that, Don? Exegesis?
I would say exegesis.
Exegesis? Exegesis, however that's pronounced.
Welcome to the
ladies and gentlemen.
spelling portion of our show.
Yeah, this is the pronunciation portion. The writer conjectures that reality is everything from a computer simulation to a vast Gnostic revelation. Dick had no trouble believing in another piece of weird phenomenon, ghost trains. According to several sources, including Ann Dick, his former wife, who was living with him in Point Reyes Station at the time, Dick claimed to hear the phantom cry of a train as he tried to sleep. I don't know. I feel like a child here. I don't know why that's so funny, but it's just hitting me sideways. Sorry, guys. The trouble was that there was no trains around. So he heard the phantom cry of a train, but there's no trains around, Don. Years before the railroad had ceased functioning in that area, however, Dick's account did match up with a local ghost story that told of an angry engineer who haunted the old railroad line that once crisscrossed through Point Reyes Station. It is said the engineer once drove his train through the night trying to find the man who wronged his daughter. That's a great way to chase him, is on a train.
Yeah, hey, take a left.
Why are you muted?
Because I muted myself because I was laughing because every time.
Yeah, okay.
Anyhow.
All right. It is said that he got on a train to chase some guy. Yeah. The wail of his whistle woke the sleepy community. Townsfolk said that the train's whistle still pierces the night during the engineer's vengeful run. Many witnesses have stepped forward to say that they have heard and seen the ghost train as well. It just so happens we might count one of the world's most lauded science fiction writers as one of these lucky, or depending on either your lack of sleep or fear of the unknown, unlucky witnesses.
Yeah, that does bring the question into, the center of the question around, is it true what he wrote, because he was a fiction writer.
Right, yeah.
But grain of salt, it could very well.
Well, sure. I mean, it doesn't preclude him from having paranormal incidences happen, but it does at least cause some suspicion. Yeah, you're right. Because he would have a vested interest in something sensational.
Yeah.
Whereas most people, it's more of a burden. It's like, oh, God, I saw that. What do I do with this?
Right.
And it kind of turns their world sideways. But a guy like that could actually use it and get some momentum out of it. So that is true. Good point. But here's the last one on this list. Murder, the Spirits Wrote. Oh, I remember that show. My grandma used to love that show with Angela Lansbury.
It's Murder,
She Wrote. I know, yeah.
Okay.
She used to love that.
Random associations. Cool.
Yeah, well, welcome to my world, Don. Skeptics charge that railroad ghost stories are just that, stories, spooky tales that, while may impart some cultural or historical wisdom, aren't really true. But these doubters may have some trouble explaining the next story that takes place in Duffy's Cut, a section of railroad near Malvern, Pennsylvania. Since the late 19th century, dozens of people have claimed to see weird floating orbs dancing around a trench near the railroad tracks. There were so many reports of what people said were the ghosts of Irish railroad workers that the railroad company began to collect and archive the stories. Two men who had heard the stories from their grandfather, who worked for the railroad company, decided to investigate whether there was any truth to these legends. With help from university-trained scientists, these amateur anthropologists dug roughly where the ghost sightings occurred and found remains from what seemed to be a mass grave.
Oh.
That's creepy. More startling, the men found evidence that it wasn't a disease that killed the workers and their families, but apparently gunshot wounds.
Ooh.
Oh, that's horrible. Well, thanks for sharing the ride through the 5 weirdest railroad stories with me. There you have it. That's the article. Again, llewellyn.com. I think this is kind of a cool site, I guess. I'm going to have to look at what else they have on here. Thank you again, Lucky, for that link. For both of those links. That was great stuff.
I wonder if they have anything interesting in their blog, because that would be kind of like a hot list.
It might be. Let's see. Browse blogs by subject. Paganism, magic, body and soul, author news, astrology, paranormal.
Dun, dun.
Click. Let's click there. Paranormal to the portal to the unknown.
Oh, goodness.
Wow, that's on Llewellyn
anytime
blog.
anytime he says portal, it's always preceded by the word paranormal.
It just comes naturally,
it's part
ladies
of
and gentlemen.
Vernacular.
It's
That's
like
a
genetic
big
at this
word.
point.
Yeah, no doubt.
It is. Very interesting. Let's see what it's saying. I guess author Rosemary Ellen Guiley has passed. I'm not sure what she wrote, but I'm sorry to hear that. What to do if your house is haunted.
Nice.
This is a good one. Good call, Don. You just brought us up to another possibility.
There you go.
And this was a blog entry from April 22nd, 2019. Where are we at with the time, though? We should probably watch this.
50, almost 50. Yeah.
Yeah, 8 minutes.
That's about right. Yep.
Okay, so we're let's see, how long is this thing?
Pam says her son wrote another encounter earlier today, so check your email. Maybe we could use it on the podcast again. Yeah, there it is. Glitch. Yeah.
Glitch.
That one. Yep.
I already opened it.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he was in Hilliard. I know exactly where that was.
Yeah, we can read this for sure.
Well, I meant for the
podcast. Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll save that for the podcast. But thank you so much for that.
Absolutely.
And tell him thank you so much. I really appreciate it. You guys have to understand, your contributions are what really make the show unique. For us to find stuff, yeah, we'll find stuff to share with you, but your stories are what make the portal absolutely unique and brilliant.
Yep. Absolutely.
So keep sending them. Keep sending
Absolutely.
anything. It doesn't have to be these amazing, profound events either.
It could just be experiences you've had. They could be just, odd cold spots that you find reoccurring in your house, or spots that you go that you have weird feelings and your ideas on why it may be, things like that. I mean, just interesting stories.
Wow. Yeah, it's very cool. It
Hi,
had
Vamp.
just happened. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Says, yep, that is the one. Okay. Thank you
Nice.
so much, I am Pam.
Dogtown. Spokane Dogtown.
Oh.
Woohoo.
Yep. We'll do that on
There's a really good bar up there.
we'll do that on this next week's podcast.
There you go.
We'll record this for this coming week's podcast and put it in somewhere with something.
We see you, DJ. We'll look into it.
What's that?
He says, look up San Antonio haunted railroad tracks.
Oh, Brett and Dawn. Why don't you look that up?
She says they have quite a few bars. Yes, I know.
Will you be sending Paranormal Portal a story? It is decidedly so. We love ourselves some paranormal stories. Oh, I see. She got an 8-ball.
Is that weird?
Weird desk. Yeah,
Yep.
she has an 8-ball emoji. That's awesome. It is decidedly so. We should get one of those for the studio here.
Oh God,
That should be here, right?
I could go for that. Yeah,
Okay.
I could go for that. Oh.
Yeah, don't do that.
Why? You just did it?
I know, but I'm the host.
Special privileges.
Yeah, I control the mutes.
Uh-huh.
I'm commander of mute.
The mute commander.
Well, sometimes. I'm sometimes mute. But yeah, I think I'll read this after the break because it does have some meat to it. So, what to do if your house is haunted will be coming up right after the break, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, keep the stories coming. Again, if you want to call in and be a part of the show, we'd love that as well. Some of you guys must have something to share. How was your Halloween? Call in and tell us. What'd you do?
Yeah. Do you have any experiences on Halloween that you want to share?
Ooh, Halloween experiences would be kind of cool.
Absolutely.
We can read some Halloween experiences as well after one of the breaks, or maybe after the story that I'm just got here in front of me. But I find those really interesting because, of course, the belief is that the veil is the thinnest at this point in time, or at least it was on Halloween Eve. Now, it doesn't mean it's all of a sudden thick. It's not just fat all of a sudden. Now it's reestablishing, according to many sources. Again, I've heard a couple versions of this, ladies and gentlemen. The one is that Halloween is when the veil is thinnest. Mm-hmm. I've also heard that it's the winter solstice where it's actually the thinnest. So depending on what you believe, and it's up to you. I don't know. As far as I know, nobody's actually measured it, but for some reason there's two beliefs there as to when the veil is the thinnest. But it's very curious. So you have to wonder, does spiritual activity increase? Now, here's the deal. I've been having little things happen here and there, nothing over the top. The other day in the studio, and Don can attest to this because I told him about it right after it happened. It was after was it after Wednesday's show? Yeah, I think it was. You had just gotten up to go out, mm-hmm. and I was in here, and I felt a hand resting on my shoulder, like literally, and I've never felt that before in my life. I felt touches, and I felt that weird anomaly that may be a touching, and maybe a nerve twitch. It's hard to tell in most of those cases. But no kidding, I felt an actual hand resting on my right shoulder. Like, and the funny thing is I think this is speculative on my part, but I've been talking lately a lot about my dad. She did an 8-ball about us getting an 8-ball. But I think perhaps it was him. I don't know. But it wasn't a menacing touch. It was just like a reassuring, resting the hand on the shoulder. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm here. So it didn't feel freaky. It didn't feel spooky. It was just like, wow. But it was definitely a hand, like, resting on my shoulder. There was weight to it. There was substance to it. I could feel, like, the palm and then the fingers, that shape. It was recognizably the feeling of a hand being on my shoulder, not just something.
Maybe it was the pat on the back of approval.
Yeah, there you go. Maybe it was. That's cool. Cool thought, but that's true. That happened. Thank you, Gemini. Yeah, I think it was too. It was just really cool. Now, this one's a little more less sensational. Let's just say it's less sensational. I better look at the clock here before I get into it. Okay, we got 2 minutes. That's about the right amount of time.
Night, Hazel.
So I was in the water closet over there. I was in the water closet attending to my business, and I noticed the roll of toilet paper was all empty. So I'm like, what the hell is this, huh? But I'm sitting there, and right on the back of the toilet is the other rolls in the plastic. And I'm sitting there, and I'm obviously alone in the bathroom. I don't like company when I'm taking care of business. But all of a sudden, the plastic on the package crinkled.
Really?
Yeah, like not just a little bit. It went like that. And I was like, yeah, I know it's right there. Like somebody's like, oh, don't worry, it's right here. I knew where the extras were.
Right.
But true story again. Now, is that paranormal? I don't know. I mean, it certainly seemed very peculiar, very very uncomfortable. Not as much, though. I mean, it's not in a creepy way. It's just like, oh, God, I wanted to be alone in here.
Right.
But that's a true story as well. I heard the plastic crinkling like somebody jiggled it and went like, yeah, it's right here. And I knew it was there. So cool story, though. I don't know. Take it or leave it. I know it sounds really convenient. Oh, you got a paranormal show and you have paranormal things happening. Wow. What? Go figure. But I mean, honest to God, it happens. This stuff is not, I don't think it's uncommon at all. I just think most of us don't look. We don't really recognize a lot of it because I think most of it is really subtle.
Yeah, and some of us just don't pay attention to subtle things. Sometimes we just need it in our face.
Yeah, well, exactly. I think that's true too. To get through the blinders
Yeah.
and all of that, yeah, for sure. So we're gonna go to the hour break, ladies and gentlemen. We will be right back after this. Paranormal Portal Radio Deck. Oh yeah, at gmail.com. Ghostwriter. Absolutely. We're going to
Be
go to the
back.
break, though. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back with more of this phenomenal journey that is the Paranormal Portal. And we hope you'll stick it out with us. Don't go away.
Everybody likes to play their games. Everybody loves to place their bets. They don't understand the price I paid. They don't care to comprehend. Trace their lines upon my body, dripping scars across my heart. Raging anger pours inside me as their lies keep falling apart. But I'm not broken yet. I'm not broken yet. I'm not broken yet. I am finished with my silence. I am not a stupid toy. No more breaking me with kindness. Just you dance upon my joy. Leading me with empty promise. You're just another fucking mess. Taking all the slice of my sanity. Just make sure that you're well fed. I'm not broken yet. I'm not broken yet. I'm not broken yet. I'm not broken yet.
she's with, they're attracted to the one thing about her that is different from themselves. Her life force, it is very strong. It gives off its own illumination. It is a light that implies life and memory of love and home and earthly pleasures. Something they desperately desire, but can't have anymore. Right now, she's the closest thing to that.
Poltergeists are usually associated with an individual. Hauntings seem to be connected with an area. A house, usually.
Poltergeist disturbances are of fairly short duration, perhaps a couple of months. Hauntings can go on for years.
American Cryptid says, glad I'm not home in the dark listening to this. Absolutely, but welcome back, everybody, to hour number 2 is now upon us here on the Paranormal Portal. And as such, we'll just have a quick moment of reflection. Okay, I'm done. All right, let's get back to it. We got an article here. What the hell happened? Okay. That was the title of the article at all. It was what to do if your house is haunted. I found it again.
I found it.
Is Danielle in here? Because I'm brutalizing accents all over the place.
Oh, I don't know if Danielle is still here.
Oh, okay.
She'll approve.
It's Danielle approved. I have her approval to do bad accents. All right, so this one's kind of interesting. Now, remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is a blog entry, and this is, again, on Llewellyn.com, Llewellyn. Just Y-N at the end, not E-Y-N. But it's written by Anna, whoever Anna is. Excuse me. But let's get to this. It says, I did an investigation for a client, and we turned up ample as evidence that something paranormal was indeed occurring at their residence. And now the homeowner turned to me and asked what could be done about it. I think I had a deer in the headlights moment. I'd spent a decade studying what these things were and neglected the essential step of how to rid a property of unwanted beings. I was like the medical student that studied the onslaught of disease but neglected to study the cure. The majority of my clients, once they understand what is going on, are happy with the results. Often I hear, I'm just glad I'm not crazy, and our group looks for natural explanations first before assuming paranormal activity. But I've had investigations where a spirit is of an angrier disposition, and the residents just want it out. Our team tries to employ scientific methods to determine if a property has a paranormal activity or not. Such cures tend to be of a more touchy-feely in nature, based on ancient rituals and substances. I didn't want to tell clients I use scientific methods and then tell them to rattle chicken bones. You see my dilemma. Then I realized the old analogy of chicken soup when you had a cold. Would chicken soup actually cure the cold? Well, it might not, but either way, it wouldn't hurt. First, however, I tried to determine whether the property actually has paranormal activity. Once someone suggests that a property is haunted, then everything immediately unexplained gets blamed on the ghost, and tensions start to mount. But if you can take a proactive versus a reactive approach, you'll often find that you begin to feel far less afraid. Definitely keep a log of events when they occur. Write down the date, time, witnesses, and the weather pattern, and always try to rule out natural explanations before first jumping to the conclusion that you have a paranormal phenomena. Know that even in cases where a haunting is occurring, it's extremely rare for anyone to be physically hurt. You can also play amateur ghost hunter, put on a recording device for a few hours and see what you find upon review. If all else fails, call in a reputable investigative group. Haunted objects may be the easiest to excise. In my book, On the Hunt for the Haunted, I wrote in particular about one house we investigated. The previous owner had died in the house when the house finally went for auction. The unlucky lady who purchased it found the house still full of previous owner's belongings, including a ratty old recliner. This recliner had been where the gentleman had spent most of his final days, and the new owner's girlfriend reported odd things happening to him. The new owner's boyfriend, rather, reported odd things happening to him when he sat in the chair, and I tentatively suggested removing the chair from the premises. He did so with gusto, burning the chair in a bonfire. The negative activity ceased right after. So if you bring home that precious antique or thrift store item and suddenly start experiencing strange things, it might be a good idea to take it back where you found it. And we've discussed that many times on the show. Performing house cleansings are popular as well. Certainly smudging with white sage is common. Holy water can also be used. Frankincense is also an effective agent and smells divine. A smell bell, what the hell is that?
I don't know.
Can also be used in lieu of these other substances by ringing it.
Oh.
A smell bell. I wonder if it just means a small bell. It's a typo.
Oh.
By ringing it in the corners of the room. Mm-hmm. The most powerful agent, however, may be... what? What the hell is this? Asafoetida. Asafoetida. When burned as an incense, however, it gives off a foul odor of onions and sulfur. So it's best kept as a last resort. I've never heard of that stuff before.
Me neither.
Asafoetida. Foetida. Asafoetida. That's a new one for me. There are multiple articles on the web that describe how to perform such cleansings in more detail. It's usually suggested that you start at the top story of the structure, enter every room, hit every corner working from high to low, and ending at the front door. You can also say a short prayer as you do this. This may not work the first time, so be prepared to do it more than once. You can also put out a shallow dish of vinegar. This weak acid is thought to dissolve etheric energies, as does salt.
Wow.
Put the salt in the corners of each room, just spread it on the floor, and leave it there for a couple of weeks before removing it. You can also have a conversation with the spirit. Be firm but not aggressive. Set the parameters with the ghost. I met one woman who felt she had spirits in the house, and she told them they could stay, but were to stay out of her bedroom. Well, it worked. You can also tell them to leave completely if you feel that strongly. I think truly the strength of any of these methods is twofold. First, if there's a spirit or spirits, it reminds them to watch their manners. But even more powerfully, it allows you to feel once again that you're in control of that situation. Mm-hmm. Huh. So that, I guess that was posted by somebody named Robin. It says she did an article about conducting an EVP session.
Wow.
That sounds lovely as well. So, very interesting. I don't disagree with anything they said there. That's really powerful. I would just say that make sure whatever you do, it's resonant to you.
Yeah, according to your faith or your beliefs. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you're doing something and it means nothing to you, it's not going to be as effective. But if you're doing something and it has the power of your belief in it, then it's extraordinarily effective.
Right.
So I would just add that. But otherwise, yeah, I think that was a good, general list of things you can try. Now, there's so much more. There's olive oil on the thresholds and windows, salt on the thresholds and windows, taking a circle of salt around your house after you've cleansed it as a barrier to keep things from coming in. Our friend Naysay told us about hanging cedar boughs above doorways to keep negative spirits out.
Right.
And that's from the First Nations practice. So we've, there's a lot of ideas out there of things that can work. It's just do some research. If you've got a bad haunting, you want it gone, do some research and find out what works for you. Sometimes you have the things right in your house. Like I would recommend sea salt, not just table salt.
Right. Sea
salt is the more natural version of salt, and it can be a real powerful agent to remove. The way I've heard it described is stand in the center of a room and toss some sea salt into each corner of each room. Go to the next room, do the same thing. The four corners covered with with a sprinkle of salt.
Right.
By standing in the center though, so that it's
Weird Dust says brick dust is good. Why would brick dust?
That's interesting.
You have to explain that one.
Yeah, please do. I'd love to hear more about brick dust.
The Holy Hand Grenade of Antioch. Yes, Cameron. Yes, that'll always work.
That's true.
Especially if you've got to kill a rabbit.
That's right. Isn't that from Monty Python?
Of course it
Yeah,
is.
okay.
But it got better.
Yeah, well, I'm still getting better. Salt dissolves slugs. That's true. And slugs may therefore be evil spirits. We aren't quite sure. No, I'm just kidding. We got some huge slugs around here, ladies and gentlemen.
Kate says, I recommend charging them rent. They'll disappear in a heartbeat.
Once they owe you money, they get out right quick.
Well, you know what I used to use on my roommates, don't you?
Go ahead.
Prep H.
Because?
Because they're a pain in my...
I remember that was another one of those segments you should have pulled. Yeah,
It was. I'll look for it.
the preparation
The
segment.
prep H,
I was
yeah.
like,
That
what
was
the hell is wrong
hilarious.
with you?
What is wrong with you? Why are you broken?
Why are you so broken down? Yeah. That's right. I forgot about that one. There's so many of those moments
Forget about that.
doing the show.
I thought that was great.
Oh, it was hilarious.
I thought about buying a bottle of it and bringing it to the Halloween marathon, the Parathon. I'm just kind of holding it. This is for my roommates. Guess what? It's the first of the month. Oh, yeah. Anyhow.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. The entertainment is always ongoing here on the portal. You just never know what you're going to get here on the portal. It's hard to say. So, they've got a bunch of different blogs in here. Ghosts of the Grand Canyon. I have not heard of that.
Oh, I bet you there's a lot, actually.
Really?
Yeah, well, I'd imagine. I mean,
Okay.
you know.
I don't know. It's a big canyon. Readers, please enjoy this guest blog. Post by Judy Martinez, co-author of the new Ghosts of the Grand Canyon.
Wow.
Well, let's check into this. Ghosts of the Grand Canyon. I'm not familiar with any right offhand, but I'll be curious to see what this has to say. As I walk through the doors of the local bookstore, I ditch my husband almost immediately and quickly dash towards the New Age section, hoping that this time I'll pick up a book on the paranormal that might contain new stories about hauntings that haven't been written about already. Yeah, that's the tough part. There's only, there's a ton of them, though. There really are just gajillions of them out there, but a lot of times people just bastardize each other's work. After I search through the chapters of the new books and glance at the pages, I disgustingly set the books back in their home place and walk out of the New Age aisle with my head held low and wonder why authors refuse to get off their derriere and seek out new hauntings and ghost stories for their books rather than retelling ghost stories that have already been published. I knew exactly where to find my husband in the store. He has a smile on his face and is cradling several new books from the Star Wars galaxy. He instantly notices the frown on my face and tries to hide his excitement about his catches of the day and asks me if I found anything new. I respond with exasperation, nope. Once again, the same old stories. It's at this moment that my loving husband loses his once happy grin, shifts all of his newfound treasures into one arm, and puts his one free arm around me to give me a hug. And I mean, couldn't he have put all the books down and used both arms to hug me? Wow, she's just kind of crabby. I desperately needed that extra arm of support. I eventually decided that it was time for me to write a book on the paranormal about ghosts and hauntings that included previously unshared information, new stories that are fresh and exciting and true, and both my husband, Brian James, and I were once employed at and lived in the Grand Canyon National Park. Every ghost book and article we picked up and read at the gift shops of the Grand Canyon were pretty much all the same stories. It was time for those who are truly interested in the Grand Canyon to know the exciting history of that park, including its many hauntings. This is the main reason we wrote Ghosts of the Grand Canyon. I still wander into bookstores optimistically looking for any new book on the paranormal that might have some new material. Until then, my husband's arms have a job of consoling my heartbreak and tears. I hope our book will in some way help fill the gap left by all the other stories that have been told and retold too many times. It looks like that was just a plug for their book. Well, I'm glad we could plug it here on the portal too. If you're looking for new ghost stories,
We could always do a read for you.
What?
A read, a pitch,
A pitch,
a paid pitch.
a paid pitch. Yeah. Now you owe us money. We'll just take 10% for everything going forward from this date. No, I'm just kidding. I hope it goes well. I was hoping that actually had some substance to it.
I was
not
hoping
just
to.
not just her dilemma of trying to find new entertainment. Bigfoot, welcome to the family. Let's see what this is. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. We're just going through this new Llewellyn site here and seeing. I don't think it's new. It's new to us though. So, okay, yeah, it seems that might be all right. Let's read it. It mentions Melba Ketchum and Zana and Russia. So let's see what's going on. It says the beast Bigfoot has fascinated me since childhood. However, when I became a journalist and started researching this legendary creature, I realized what I knew growing up was wrong. Bigfoot isn't solely a North American monster, it's worldwide. And more importantly, it might not be a beast. Native Americans traded with it. Australian Aboriginals warred with it. And some lonely Russian villagers once mated with it. That's the Zana reference. As I discovered researching my book, Chasing American Monsters, in the United States, encounters with these hairy giants have been reported in every state except Hawaii. Some are the stereotypical towering bipedal gorilla-like creatures with big feet bigger than an NBA player's. Others, such as the Florida skunk ape, more resemble an orangutan. Missouri's Momo and Louisiana honey swamp island monster have footprints with only 3 toes. And however, the reports that intrigue me the most involve something that doesn't sound like an animal. Native American legends considered Sasquatch as just from another tribe. The Russian villagers who captured the female Alma, the Russian Bigfoot, named her Zana, and produced offspring with her. Mormon apostle David Patton encountered a huge man covered in hair in Tennessee in 1835. The furry giant told Patton that he was Cain of Genesis, cursed to wander the earth for his sin. Hunters who have had Sasquatch in their sights said they didn't shoot because the entity looked too human. James Bobo Fay from Finding Bigfoot on Animal Planet said in the Sun Herald of Venice, Florida, I wouldn't capture or kill one. That would be murder. 90% of their DNA is the same as a human. In 2012, Dr. Melba Ketchum of the Sasquatch Genome Project revealed Bigfoot DNA her team collected was discovered to be human, although novel. According to the Los Angeles Times, Bigfoot researcher Todd Standing of Alberta, Canada, had what he claimed to be a Bigfoot hair analyzed in 2014. It was also human, per the Calgary Herald, when Professor Brian Sykes of the University of Oxford that guy's an idiot. I don't like that Brian Sykes guy. I'm just saying. Conducted DNA tests on saliva taken from Xana's descendants. In 2013, the samples were human. Just odd, according to the UK's Daily Mail. Let's take a step in a different but similar direction. In 1999, the now late author Lloyd Pye, excellent author, acquired the malformed skull of a child discovered in a cave in southern Chihuahua, Mexico. From the shape, he believed the skull to be from an extraterrestrial human hybrid. DNA testing revealed it to be human. DNA is tricky. Organics carried on a researcher's clothing can contaminate a sample, so hair, skin, or a sneeze. Did someone pick up possible Bigfoot scat with bare fingers? Doubtful. But the human results could still be because of contamination. Or something else. Consider this. The descriptions of Sasquatch and extraterrestrials in some camps they're thought to be the same are human enough in description, and if DNA samples coming up human, maybe that's what they are. Not us, but close relatives from a universal genetic pool. Maybe. That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I've always assumed that the human has to do with some sort of hybridization that happened long ago.
Right.
That's still maintained in that genetic stamp, but I don't know. I guess, perhaps they just are a different branch of human. But who knows, ladies and gentlemen? But interesting. Nothing earth-shattering in any of that, but just some well-formed thoughts, I think.
Yeah.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
Hypotheses.
Yeah. Ooh, how about when paranormal entities follow you home?
Ooh.
I'm just saying, if you ever like to go out and research, do investigating for ghosts and such, there's always the risk that something decides it likes you better than hanging out wherever it is. Not that old defunct warehouses can't be a lot of fun, but it might be more exciting to just hitch a ride with a person and see what's going on in their
no
world,
doubt.
rather than trying to guess which chip of paint is going to fall the next day. So I think people do drag stuff home with them. At times, not universally so, maybe even not a lot, but I think it happens. It could be that the person reminds the entity of someone they know or loved or cared about or had significance to them in some way. Could be that they just want to go somewhere else.
They want to. They want scenery. They want new scenery.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Go, vacation.
Yeah, right. So I do believe people drag these things away with them a lot of times. I often encourage people to have some form of ritual at the end of every investigation where they, say we're done.
Ooh, American Cryptid said it's happened to him.
Oh, really?
Them.
Very cool. We'd love to hear about that too.
Yeah.
Feel free to use the call.
720-923-0500.
720-923-0500 is the number if you'd like to share that.
The call board.
Yeah. Well, I just got to keep looking at it because if I don't, then I'll find, somebody's been on hold for 25 minutes.
Yeah, no doubt. If you want a paranormal road trip, you've got to help us out.
So, I always encourage people to have some kind of closing ritual because I think that assertion and that proclamation can, cause that they can't follow you. I mean, if you say you're not allowed to follow me,
right?
You're not allowed to come to my home. You're not allowed to leave these premises. You are bound here. You're not able to follow me. This is not okay.
Sounds like American Cryptid needs a boss button.
A what?
A boss button.
A boss button?
Yeah.
What's that?
Oh shoot, the boss coming.
Oh. Oh, I gotcha. I see. Well, I'm still thrilled you're with us. So if you can't call, that's cool. But thank you for sharing what you can. But I think this happens. So let's read this and find out what it says. Let me look at the time, though. Because the time always sneaks by. There's only 3 minutes down until the next break.
What?
Is that even possible?
Wow.
How is that even possible, for God's sakes?
Country code for U.S. It's like 011 0011. Country code is 011.
Okay.
Somebody Avatar is asking.
Oh, very good.
So,
very good indeed. We'll get into that article on the other side, ladies and gentlemen, or that blog post because it's just too close to the break. But again, I want to let everybody know. Make sure to stick around after this show on TFR, iHeart, tune in, and TalkStream Live. Paisley Wild will be coming up next with the Spaces Between. It's her pagan journey of her, investing herself into the pagan lifestyle and kind of a roadmap of her experiences. And then following that, our very own Duke Sullivan of World Bigfoot Radio has World Bigfoot Radio coming up on TFR, iHeart, TuneIn, and TalkStream Live.
Yeah, he said something about like goblins or gremlins of the Wild West. I think
know.
It was.
I mean, he's got such
listen to that.
He's got such an amazing catalog of stuff. And if you're interested in cryptids, ladies and gentlemen, and you haven't checked out World Bigfoot Radio on either TFR Live or on YouTube, you can find it on YouTube. You need to do that because this man has cataloged so much information and talked to so many people that have had experiences and researchers that are out there looking for these things. It's just an epic journey. And if you listen to our Parathon, you heard Duke talk to us for about a couple hours. And
was it a couple hours?
It really was, yeah.
Wow.
He and I talked today. He said, I couldn't believe I went on that long. It was like, it didn't feel like that long.
No, I only thought it was like maybe 45, maybe an hour.
No, it was like
2 hours, really?
I guess.
Closer to 2? Wow.
I guess. It's what we talked about today. But, very, very cool gentleman full of an amazing level of knowledge on the subjects. So if you're interested in the Bigfoots, the giants, the cryptids, the little people, definitely check out World Bigfoot Radio. But he'll be coming up 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on TFR Live. And you can check him out, and you can be a part of his chat by going to tfrlive.com/chat, and you can develop your own username and password, and you can be a part of that chat community over there as well. But I'm probably going to be there hanging out as that episode happens tonight. So,
Yep.
yeah, lots going on, and both Friday, Saturday nights when we're on the network. So the network, the reason that you're seeing, if you're catching us on YouTube, the reason you're seeing breaks is because we're tied to the network, and every half hour we have to take a break to coordinate with what the networks are doing. And if we kept going live, we would get commercials being blasted into your ears.
Right.
So I made these video vignettes and segments with music just to hopefully give you something to watch that wasn't a commercial.
Duke said 2.25 hours.
2.25
It
hours.
did
yeah.
not seem that long to me.
Right. I know. It just flew. And it was a great discussion, though.
That was great. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. The Parathon was a lot of fun, ladies and gentlemen. We had a great time doing it. But we're going to take our last break of the night, and then we'll be back for the last half hour of the show in just a couple minutes. So don't go away, everybody. We'll be right back to entertain you one more time tonight for another half hour.
Just once.
One more. That's it. That's all you get.
That's all I did. We're done, heathens.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the show. The last half hour of the Paranormal Portal is upon you. And I got to tell you, I don't think I'll ever get tired of the fact that people come to listen to us.
Huh? Yeah.
It just totally bakes my bacon every time.
These yokels on the radios.
I know. I mean, we're just a couple of schmucks with internet connection and a microphone.
Microphones.
and some decorations hanging up and behind us.
2 microphones and 2 schmucks. No, what is it? It's a...
2 turntables and a microphone.
It's two schmucks and 2 turn. We'll figure it out. I'll figure it out.
Anyway, we're just rocking the night away. Of course, again, Paisley Wild following us. After that comes Duke Sullivan with World Bigfoot Radio.
Yep.
On TFR, iHeart, TuneIn, and TalkStream Live on the Truth Frequency Radio channel, or TFR channels on all of those networks respectively. So there's lots going on after this. There's plenty more to entertain you after the portal. We're just warming up the stage for them. And
yeah, we get the primetime slot to warm up for them because they're awesome.
What is this? I got this weird wrinkle on this shirt. Looks like,
Swipe it off.
I'm trying. Feels like it's hanging weird or something. Yeah, I got it
The
on
shirt
backwards.
or your arm?
It feels like I got it on backwards or something. Wouldn't be the first time, ladies and gentlemen. Weirdness happens to me all the time. But yeah, we got an article we're going to go into here. See where we are. When paranormal entities follow you home. Now, Ruthie, I was looking at what she said in the vault, and she's like, "Nope. I always tell them not to follow me home." Good job, Ruthie. You're doing it right. And she also promised to send in some stories.
Oh.
So I hope she will. I hope you do, Ruthie, because we'd love to see them. I always love these, hearing from all of you guys. The thing about the stories is that they are the way you saw it.
Right.
And nobody else saw it like that ever.
That's right.
It's never been written the way you saw it. And
Right.
so that's why every story is unique. Even if it's similar phenomena, you guys each see something just a little differently. And that really helps me to learn so much more about these phenomena.
Yes.
I really feel that I've learned so much just from hearing the experiences of people that have been through it.
Huh.
So
You know what I just remembered?
what's that, Don?
I think Pam was talking about Spokane and Hilliard and Dogtown, because her son had that experience. That's where he's writing that experience from. I just remembered that Spokane Community College, their mascot is Bigfoot.
Oh, nice.
I just remembered that.
Outstanding. They have wonderful taste, that's for sure. That's a good
I
one.
forgot about that.
All right, so let's get to this. This is about when entities follow you home. It says, it takes a lot to make an agnostic call in a Catholic priest to cleanse his home. Yet that is exactly what happened to me one winter a few years ago. I've been a paranormal investigator and author since the mid-'90s and thought I'd really seen it all. If the truth be told, I'd gotten a little jaded. Most of my peers employed some sort of psychic protection ritual, such as envisioning themselves surrounded by a bright white light of spiritual origin when leaving a supposedly haunted location. Well, I never did, and it was something I would ultimately have cause to regret. It had been a busy year, one in which I'd crossed several major locations off my bucket list: Waverly Hills Sanatorium in Kentucky, where thousands of people had died of tuberculosis; Bobby Mackey's Music World in Wilder, Kentucky, proclaimed by some as the gateway to hell; and Asylum 49, one of the world's most haunted hospitals, to name just 3. At none of them did I make any effort at all to protect myself from negative energies. The first sign of trouble came when my wife woke up in the middle of the night, shaking me awake to tell me that she had spotted a small child-sized figure standing at the side of the bed. From her description, it had looked like something like a Jawa from the movie Star Wars, although it was more of a dark shadow figure with the hood of a robe covering its head and face. Wow. Oh my God, that's way creepy. Although I took her sighting seriously, I also thought it's possible that she had experienced either a hypnagogic or hypnopompic hallucination, a fairly common trick of the mind when it's falling asleep or returning to wakefulness. Next, we started to hear the sound of a woman's voice, usually calling out from downstairs when we were both upstairs. Usually it was a single word, "Hello," each time it happened. Our dog would go berserk, pounding downstairs for all she was worth before growling and snarling in an empty corner of the living room. Then I saw the shadow figure myself. I was sitting in the hallway talking to my boss on the phone. It was broad daylight. I'm going to have to call you back, I told her, because I just saw a ghost.
Oh, God.
It had been an adult-sized human form moving from one side of the hallway to the other over the space of 2 or 3 seconds. There was no longer any doubt in my mind. I had brought back something unwanted and unwelcome from one of my investigations, and now I had to get rid of it. I called in a good friend and fellow paranormal investigator who also happened to be a Catholic priest. Will this even work? I asked. I mean, I'm not a Christian. It only matters that you believe, he replied with a smile, not so much what you believe. He performed a ceremony of blessing, working his way throughout the house and anointing each window and doorway with the cross made from holy water. Don't ask me quite how, but it worked. When all was said and done, my family and I were never bothered by paranormal activity at home again. You can be sure that ever since I have taken great pains to protect myself from other potential psychic trespassers.
I bet.
Now, that's the kind of thing you don't want to learn the wrong way. And this guy definitely learned it the wrong way. I ain't doing that garbage. I don't believe in none of that. Oops. It's like, yeah, all of a sudden you become a believer. But we got a phone call. Our very own Miss Diane is on the phone here. So I guess we should just say hello. Hello, Miss Diane.
Hello.
How are you?
Hello.
How's
I'm
it?
in my new place,
That's what we
pretending to
understand.
be British or something.
Yeah, well, you can pretend whatever you want. This is a safe space.
do I need a safe word?
No, it's not that kind
If
of
you
place.
really want to.
This is not that kind of place.
Good. I'm kind of glad. Anyway, I do have some news
Okay.
and a few words since we were talking about the cryptids thing came up.
Uh-huh.
And it's kind of interesting, I can't think of the name of the place, but the little 3-fingered alien-looking thing that they found, the mummified body. I can't remember where that came from.
All I could
But there's
remember, all
more
I could
on
think
that.
of sloths. Sorry.
Hey. If you can't be helpful.
Shut up, Don.
Okay,
Drink your Jack.
now, if they give you the finger, it's really different, right? It's a really long finger.
Right.
Anyway, these, they found more of these little mummies and some bigger ones as well. And I just saw this, and this was on, let me see. It was on another channel, but
okay.
they have been having to go out of the United States to get them tested
Oh.
because they cannot any of the specimens tested in the USA.
Well, I wouldn't trust it
But
here either. You know?
They took it to Germany. No, I wouldn't either.
Yeah. They took it to Germany?
Well, there was a... I'm trying not to block you. There was a German lab that did a lot of work on it, and each one of them that they found a much larger one than that. They found another one that looked like a baby version of it. It looked like an alien.
Wow.
They did take the DNA. They took samples of the bones. They took samples of some stuff that was packed with it, like the little baby was packed with some wool to hold its head up. And they took samples of everything. They ultrasounded it. They CAT scanned it, these bodies, and DNA tested it, everything.
Uh-huh.
And the thing is that they are not human. They only share maybe 20% DNA with us.
Wow. That's huge.
Yes, that is very huge development in this field. Because for how many years have they been saying? How many years have they been saying? Do you have a body?
Yeah.
You know, what do you have? What do you?
Right. And well, and
Well, now we
how long have they been saying that these things are just malformed children that didn't make it, or, something like that? I mean, they've been always calling it birth defects of some form or another.
right, and they can prove that these things had teeth. They were old enough to have teeth. They were old enough to have walked around because you can tell by the way
Bone
there are
density, yeah.
certain marks.
Yep, there's
Yeah.
bone. Yep, absolutely.
And all kinds of different ways. And they did find sort of a baby version of and a larger version, a female, and one that looked very young. And they found some very small ones, some of the real small ones, like the one that you've probably seen. They found what they're calling the family, which is 3 of them. It looks like 2 older ones and a younger one.
Oh, okay.
And so now they've got several, and it's not just that one, and they do not come out to be human at all.
That's
Not
amazing.
even at all, really.
Huh. And you don't remember where they were referencing this from, though?
Same. Oh gosh, I'm trying to remember what the channel was.
Okay.
I'll
Well,
tell you what. I'll
if-
find the
if- yeah.
channel and show you a link, and you can bring it up whenever you want to. Then
Yeah, please do.
I'll find it again.
Okay.
And because I watch all of them, it might be UMAN or it might be. There's several of them that I listen to. I've been listening to them while I unpack.
Okay.
And this was one of the most amazing things yet. I mean, really. Then we had Hogue talking about Armageddon. Well, I'm not afraid of Armageddon. It's the age of the revealing, Well, things are going to show up and be explained that we never had explained before. And that is definitely happening. So, to me, this is like a huge development. And those of you who love cryptids, man, this is like a gold mine for you now. This is vindication for everybody who ever saw anything and said that can't be human. It's vindication for all of us that we're ever called crazy or
Right. It is.
we're ever doubted.
Yep. It really is.
So it's huge.
Yep. That's.
But
I
you
hope.
hear in the
I hope
news.
it's authentic. Now, here's the thing that always troubles me is that sometimes these things are published by sites that are less than credible, and a lot of people jump on it right away, like, "Oh, look cool," and then you find out, no, that's not actually the story, and then it's some kind of spoof or hoax or something like that. So I hope it's credible.
No, it looked pretty darn credible to me, and I've been looking at this stuff for a long time.
Let's see. I'm going to look this up now. Lisa Heilman saying that it's on Coast to Coast. So let me look. Coast.
Might be on several of them. It's big news. It's really big news.
Let's see what they're saying.
I'm trying to think all of them. It wasn't Edge of Wonder because I watched them too. Look over my subscriptions. I could probably figure out who it was, but anyway, it's really important that we get the word out to people who have been looking for proof. Now you can very proudly say, yes, we have proof. We do have to keep this alive, though, because obviously they weren't going to let them bring it out in the United States. They had to go, this is a German lab that had to do this work.
Okay.
And that's been the way that they've had to go the whole time is. So we got to ask ourselves now, what is so important that, the United States wants to hide? Why is the United States hiding this? We really have to get to the bottom of that question now.
Well, they hide a lot of stuff. I don't think we'll ever get to the truth as long as it has the government attached to it. They'll just give us another version of a press release, and some people will buy it, other people won't.
Yeah.
They don't have any compulsion to be honest, Diane. There's no compulsion for them to be honest. So.
Nope, they don't. That's true. They
Yeah.
don't really give a darn, and really they'll test on their own. Well, when you find out about MK Ultra and all that stuff, people have been tested on without their permission, and you look at it and you wonder just who is the evil empire here.
Yeah, well,
We have a degree of freedom here, we do, but on the other hand, there are also quite a bunch of us. I also have a theory on the missing people. If you want to hear it very quickly, I put something kind of together. Is one of your guests, and I think it was one of the women that talks about the cryptids and the Bigfoot. She mentioned that one of their games or one of their little things they do to amuse themselves would be sound cruel to us, pulling the feet off of small animals and watching them try to run away.
oh, yeah, well,
I remember.
that could be. I don't
Okay.
recall that statement exactly, but it sounds kind of familiar.
Yeah, it was one of the women who said that.
Huh.
And that really struck me as kind of weird, since a lot of the missing people are missing their shoes.
Uh-huh. Well, that's
And
true.
I'm thinking,
Yeah, but when the corpses are,
weird.
when they sometimes find bodies after that, and I don't think they're suffering any broken bones or anything in that case. Like they may find shoes and clothing piled up, but then sometime later they'll find the body, usually quite a bit distant from that. And I don't think that I've come across anything that shows that they've been really brutalized. It's just they're no longer alive for some
no,
reason.
but I don't know. There's something, and I got to go with my intuition here.
Okay.
There's something about pulling off the shoes, the being found without shoes. Because, most humans, you set them out in the brush with no shoes, they're not going to be able to run very far either.
Sure. Yeah.
But could that be like they're pulling off the shoes of the humans watching, and they find they can't run very well? I mean, Bigfoot wouldn't necessarily think of that as being at first as being a terrible thing because they run around barefoot. What's wrong with these humans?
Sure.
But I don't know. There just seems to me like the correlation with the game she was talking about.
Yeah. Well,
It's almost there's something about that, and I don't know. That's just my 2 cents. And we can hash that over sometime if anybody wants to.
Sure,
The
but
third thing, I got one third thing.
okay. Go ahead.
I got one third thing. Roger, I told you about, he has been sending in DNA from rocks. He has been saying that the red stains you see on a rock are actually from biology, are actually from blood. And he has actually sent it to a lab and found out, yes, it is. There is DNA on these rocks. Now, of course,
I don't believe that.
that, and human DNA at that. Okay, well, human DNA has been found on a meteorite.
Okay.
There you go.
Well, maybe.
That's another bombshell I'm not hearing about.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much for sharing those things with us. I appreciate it.
Okay, so basically, I'm there like, wow, things are really opening up. I really think that we're going to be seeing in 2020. I think we're going to be seeing some really amazing things, and all of us are going to finally be seeing the proof come up. We're finally going to see what's really going on, and it's going to be beyond the shadow of a doubt and beyond all of these.
Excellent.
Septic.
Here's to hoping. I
Okay.
hope so with you, my lady. But it's great hearing from you. I hope the new home is going wonderful, and keep in touch, please.
Oh, it's lovely. I love it.
Excellent.
Okay.
It's like night and day.
Excellent.
This is day. Okay.
All right. Good night, Day.
I love y'all.
I love you all too.
Bye.
See ya.
Night, D.
Okay. There you have it. Miss Diane Swiger is called in. And I have about enough time, I think, to do one more article here, and then we're going to be done. I never did find that. I looked through Coast to Coast AM's site and couldn't find anything. But I found... I didn't want to read this. What the hell is that? I didn't want to read that. I did find that. Paranormal parasites. That sounds interesting, right, Don?
Ooh.
I don't know if I have enough time to read it, but I'll look. Let's see how long it is. Yeah, I can read this. All right. The world around us is not as it appears to be. In fact, far from it. As we go about our daily business, working and living in our lives, behind the scenes, something dark and dangerous is taking place. And it's been going on since the dawn of civilization. Most people remain oblivious to the truth and don't even realize it. Now and again, however, someone will stumble upon the startling reality that potentially affects and dictates the lives of just about all of us. What am I talking about? Nothing less than a monstrous collection of supernatural entities that terrify and torment us, and have done so for millennia. They do far more than that, however. They feed upon us like bloated paranormal leeches. They suck us dry as they seek to fuel themselves with our psychic energy, high states of emotion, sexual energy, and human life force. They hate and despise us, but paradoxically, they can't live without us. Extensive data exists that strongly suggests that the human soul essence or life force is something that all of these entities, and vast majority of which exist in states of pure energy, but can take on just about any form they choose, need to survive. Have you ever woken up drained and utterly exhausted from a terrifying nightmare that didn't seem quite like any other regular dream? If the answer is yes, then you may have been fed upon by these infernal things. Excuse me. When we sleep, we're at our most vulnerable, and that's exactly how they want us. A dream is not always a dream, as strange as that might sound. Sometimes it's an indication that as you sleep and as your guard is down, these voraciously hungry monsters are in essence eating you. Sorry about that, I had a cough. Among these creatures are the shadow people, hostile things that typically manifest between 1 a.m. and 4 a.m. and who have the ability to paralyze us and drain our bodies of energy, in much the same way that the vampires of folklore would drain people of blood. In fact, such distorted tales of vampirism almost certainly had their origins in the worlds and actions of these multidimensional things. Equally dangerous, but also part of the equation, are what can accurately be termed supernatural seducers, dangerous entities that thrive on sexual energy, such as the orgone energy as theorized and documented by Wilhelm Reich. A highly charged sexual dream may be deliberately initiated by such things, which over the centuries has been referred to as incubus, succubus, Lilith, the old hag. Also relevant to this angle is the reason why so many supernatural encounters occur at so-called lovers' lane locations. Do your utmost to avoid these dangerous creatures. Well, I think I will. That's great. He gives us, here's what you got to be afraid of. Okay, I'm done. Not, hey, well, okay, how do people
protect yourself?
How do you protect yourself? Well, ladies and gentlemen, grab a little salt packet before you go to sleep and spread it around your bed.
Oh, yeah, that sounds
on the
like
floor.
itching powder. Oh, okay.
Not in the bed. Around the floor of the bed.
Somebody.
Just saying, a quick circle of salt is very effective against negative entities.
Yeah, but it'd be better to put out cedar boughs because it's easier to clean up. You just pick them up in the morning,
Hey, see, they made these things down in probably the 1920s called vacuums.
Yeah, but it's
Just
a pain
saying.
in the butt to drag out a vacuum every morning, now, isn't it?
Oh, come on.
Come on now.
Mine's always out just waiting to roar to life.
Gonna need some Prep H for that.
Just rub it on there. Rub it on there, Don. It'll take care of localized swelling, is what I understand.
In that case, I have a couple roommates, like I said.
You're just going to lube them up with some preparation H and push them out the door. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's see where we're at here. I'm just about to wrap up the show, and a good thing I was, because we are at about a minute out of the ending, believe it or not.
Yep.
This is the way it rolls here on the portal, ladies and gentlemen. That Coca-Cola came back at me.
Oh, it must have been Beastly Bronco who bought that sticker.
Oh, very nice.
Yes.
Very nice.
Yes,
Thank
yes,
you,
yes,
Beastly
yes.
Bronco.
He says, I can't wait for my sticker to get here.
Where are you going to put it?
On his Bronco. Go figure.
Yeah, buddy. He's going to be flying the flag. We should do a Paranormal Portal flag. That'd be
Oh.
kind of cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we could do that. I could probably do something.
We
like
should
that.
get a
Use
paranormal
the-
portal mobile. An old hearse.
An old hearse,
Yeah, that'd be awesome, wouldn't it?
Paranormal things.
Plenty of room in
happen.
back for the grocery and the kids.
I mean, just make sure it's smoking.
Yeah, exactly.
See what kind of paranormal things come out right of there.
Yep, ground effects. I'm feeling it, brother. I'm feeling it, but absolutely pleased that you all joined us. Remember, stick around for Paisley Wild, The Spaces Between, coming up next.
Yep.
And then World Bigfoot Radio right here on TFR iHeart. Tune in and TalkStream Live, TFRLive.com.
Yes.
And remember, TFRLive.com/chat to get in on the chat with Duke and during his episode coming up later tonight.
And
But
he can actively chat.
Don, anything in closing real quick?
Turn your clocks back,
Turn your clocks back tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
except for Arizona.
You're going to gain a little bit of sleep. But I
And
love you
Hawaii.
all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day. And remember to laugh as much as you can. We love you guys. Good night.
See ya.